Dharma Initiative intro line. Welcome to Lost All Caps.
Nice, I like that one.
Thank you. I'm Ariel.
And I'm Velvet.
And this is the Lost All Caps podcast. A podcast where I don't know why I said it like that. It sounded like I was about
you were going to launch into a speech without telling me first.
We've got a couple orders of business, I would say, before we get into it. First of all...
I had a haircut.
We've both changed hair. Now, thank you so much for saying that they look lovely. We know. But you just need to know, okay, there's going to be an episode in a few episodes' time where we jump back to our old hair colours. Because we already recorded that a while ago. Look, you're going to just have to hold our hands and go with us, all right?
Believe us. The hair continuity is really a consistent error of this show.
No, I think this is our first. Usually we're quite consistent.
Because recently we've not recorded particularly consistently. So there's a period in this series where just like every other episode I change hair. Where,
but really, it's
you
been
have
like
to
2
believe
months.
me, it was quite a while in between each hair change. I wasn't just changing it every, week.
I'd respect it if you did. I
My
remember
hair
when
wouldn't respect it.
I used to have a bleach blonde buzz cut before I had a mohawk, and a friend of mine was like, also had a bleach blonde buzz cut and was saying like one of the best things about it is you can dye your hair to match your outfits.
Nice.
And I was like, that's so fucking sick. Like, I wish I could be that girl. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, instead, I changed my outfits to match the hair. So as you can see, we're very purpley blue today.
Yeah, I think the one thing, like, I don't think I will ever have a buzz cut. I think my head's too round. But the thing that really tempts me is the idea of, like, buzzing it and then bleaching it and painting my head like a tennis ball. With, like, the lines.
That's what draws you to it, yeah.
With, like, the lines. I just think it would be really funny. And every time anyone I know mentions getting a buzz cut, I'm like, please do the tennis ball thing.
Tennis ball. Is that a thing that you've seen online, or did you just
it's just me.
Love that. That's brilliant.
Could do it orange with black lines as well. Basketball, yeah. Basketball head.
Baseball.
Football head.
Yeah.
Baseball would be quite difficult. You'd have to paint stitching in.
I think that's possible.
It's possible, but it'd be more of a challenge.
I didn't do many like fun designs, but I did buy some like sprays, which were like washout ones, and I did like a spiral on the top of my head, and I also did half and half.
One of my best friends has an undercut that he sometimes lets me just paint things on.
In hair dye?
In hair dye.
In general?
Just with regular paint. No, with hair dye.
Yeah.
It was like, sometimes he'd give me designs. Sometimes I've done like an eyeball, so he's got like a third eye in the back of his head.
Cute. Love that.
Or one time he was like, give me something with like Keith Haring vibes. And I drew like the baby on one side and then the dog on the other side and did like a bunch of wiggly lines.
Wow, you did all that just on like the tiny portion of his head?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a big buzz cut.
Yeah, but
it's quite a lot of his head. But yeah.
I mean, there's just not a whole lot of surface area to work with.
Just had a little paintbrush and like the hair dye.
That's really cool. I mean, I forget that you're like a hairdresser extraordinaire these days.
Yeah, I did blood dripping once. That was cool. Because it was all with red hair dye. So one time I did a bunch of like blobs coming down.
That. Oh, I could definitely do something fun with that.
You could, I mean, it's not red anymore, but you could have put like dripping down the sides of your head.
But then would it have just looked like the hair dye
would have looked like you made a mistake? Yeah. It might have done.
I don't really do stuff with the sides. Maybe I should.
You should.
Next week you're gonna see me.
Next week.
With like a
whole design.
Lightning going up the side.
Here's my
like
suggestion. Here's my suggestion for you. Bleach the sides as well. Right. Dye the mohawk black, and then on down the sides of your head, spider legs. So like the mohawk
is a very thin, pointy spider.
Thin, pointy spider body, and then spider legs.
And then I'd have to get, those little googly eyes on like a thing that you put in your hand and you make a little person like this. I'd get one of them.
Well, 4 of them.
Thread it in. Oh, of course. In a stacked on top of each other like that down the front.
Spider.
That'd be sick, actually. Maybe that's my Halloween costume for this year.
Next Halloween, yeah.
I haven't got anything yet because It's January, spoiler alert, guys.
Well, okay, what's the second order of business?
The second order of business is, so last week we announced Lost All Caps Live.
Yes.
And it only occurred to me as I was listening back to the episode that we don't mean the podcast episode is going to go out live.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I was literally like, oh wait, hang on, we're barreling towards a misunderstanding here. We've been confusing, I apologise. What we mean is there's a live event. So we're gonna be doing a show in a local independent cinema where we screen the episode and then talk about the episode in front of a live studio audience.
The event will not be live streamed.
No. So we will obviously record that and then put that out, but months and months later, I imagine, once we finally get our shit together.
Yeah.
So no, the podcast is not going to go out live, just to clear that up. We are just doing a live show, essentially.
Yeah.
So please come along to that if you can, if you're in Manchester or the surrounding areas.
Adjacent to Manchester.
Don't be getting on a plane from America to come see us, okay?
As much as that would be fun, it's not going to be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so come down if you can.
The ticket link will be in our bio, presumably.
Yes, it is on the 30th?
Yes.
I don't have my diary with me. The 30th of May.
30th of May, yes.
In, what's the name of the place?
Cultplex.
In Cultplex, Manchester.
Yes. So we look forward to seeing you there.
We're very excited and I know all the details. And I didn't leave it to Ariel to organise at all. This episode's a weird one. Because it's like, sorry, why are we doing this? It feels...
Sorry, why are we doing this? Yeah.
Very much like a filler episode to me.
Yeah, it's definitely a filler one.
Because we don't really like... The flashbacks don't really teach us anything new about Sawyer.
No.
It's like, sure, he's resisting character development, I guess is the point of this episode. Because it's like, up till now, this series, Sawyer has been kind of like in this grey area between like, everyone hates him, but also he got so sick and dying of gunshot wound that they were like, oh, we like him now.
Yeah.
And like, he doesn't like that people are being friendly to him. So now he's resisting that, but he wants everyone to hate him again.
Well, that's at least what Kate thinks is happening. And I kind of have to agree with her that, you know, it kind of seems like...
On a level, I definitely agree. There's some interesting stuff psychologically about like Sawyer's identity and like his you know, his relationship with his, I was gonna say career is not the right word. His career as a con man, his career in crime. And like his
Does it ever strike you as odd how like open they all are about like, yeah, I con people? Do you know what I mean? Like in the flashbacks when Cassidy was like, teach me, and he was like, teach you what? And she's like, teach me how to con. I'm like, sure, I don't know, it feels like there should be a euphemism, do you know what I mean? Rather than, yes, please, I would love to learn how to con people, please, thank you so much.
It's like, teach me how to steal.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there should, I don't know. It feels like very much, like, when I was watching this episode, I kept thinking, like, is this a real thing? You know? I'm like the idea of like a guy whose entire life is like paying off debts and like stealing money from people.
Well, I mean, I think there are scams and stuff, right? You know, scammers and like...
I mean, I've been scammed before.
Hashtag scammed. How were you scammed?
Well, Mum got scammed really more than I did.
Get scammed.
We were taken in by an Instagram ad for a clothing company that we like allegedly doing a flash sale where everything was really cheap. And I didn't know the prices of the clothes originally. So I was like, oh, this seems legit. And I later learned the price of the clothes originally, and I was like, whoa, yeah, I should have seen that coming.
£50 or £60 cheaper, right?
It was like, the clothes we were buying, they were like originally priced at like 75, 80 quid, and they were going for like 12 or something. So it was like, I should, like, if I'd known, I would have seen that coming. But the website seemed legit. And then, yeah, we paid for it. Nothing got delivered. And then mum, like, replied to the email that sent, like, a receipt being like, my things haven't been delivered, and got, like, an auto reply in, like, Chinese or something. And she was like, this is a British company. That's a red flag. And then called the bank and they were like, yeah, we'll just stop the payment and refund it.
That's good though, that you got the money back.
So yeah, we got the money back. We never got the clothes, obviously. But we got the money back, so it was okay. And then I was like, lesson learned, don't trust Instagram ads.
Yeah. So I guess, like, you know, there are people who run scams like that we're sort of aware of. Maybe there are people who are like Sawyer who are running around, you know, doing all these kind of schemes.
Yeah, I don't know, it feels like very much, I guess the modern equivalent is like cyber scamming people.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, like catfishing and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's something I hear about a lot, like people, you know, pretending to be celebrities, or like pretending, you know, getting in relationships online, then going, oh no, I have to have this operation that's going to cost me £12,000 and I can't pay for it, and then they get them to pay for it. That happens quite a lot, like I do hear about that. So I guess maybe it's, the con has developed.
Yeah, it does. You know, I didn't think about it before you said that, but in a way this episode has quite a retro feel to it, doesn't it?
It feels like a sort of, yeah.
It's like a kind of period piece of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
You know?
I've been having a right giggle about, like, the kind of dating of early 2000s media recently. I've been rewatching Sherlock.
Oh, yeah.
And in the first episode, there's this phone, and it's like, they describe it as like it's a smartphone, which means it was email enabled.
Pardon?
That was the definition of smartphone. You can send emails from it.
Oh, right.
And receive emails on it. And, like, he has this it like slides open on the side.
God.
To like have the keypad. And there's one bit where Sherlock receives a text, and at the top of his phone screen it says 1 of 6. Because, like, the old phones could only store so many text messages. You had to delete your text messages. Because otherwise you couldn't receive texts.
You have the message is too long for the small screen.
No, it was like, the text just said, like, come outside or something. Right, okay. But it says 1 of 6.
I'ma kill you. It's from Moriarty. I'ma kill you.
That is genuinely what the text is. It says, like, come with me, and then he goes and gets in the car with the taxi driver, and then the taxi driver tries to kill him.
He fell for a scam. You know, we've all been there.
I got scammed by a taxi driver.
That's so funny. Email enabled.
It was a smartphone. It was email enabled. It's like a genuine line from the show.
That's like when you, like, you know, when you're, like, on a train and they're like, log into the Wi-Fi, you can use the Wi-Fi to send and receive emails. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's a thing that people, it's, like, not real. Do you know what I mean? That's so funny.
That's what smartphone meant.
Smartphone, email enabled. I love email enabled. I'm going to start using that.
I'm like, that's crazy.
That's great. There's one music video, I think it's, I can't remember who it is now, but it's kind of iconic because she receives a text, but it's in, like, an Excel spreadsheet.
What?
It says, like, I want you so bad, but it's in an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. I can't remember.
That's incredible.
God, you're looking to page me right now.
You're looking to page me right now.
I brought that up the other day. In Crazy in Love, there's a line that says, got you looking to page me right now.
So funny.
Which is, I find, brilliant.
It's a time capsule.
Yeah. Real insight into the kind of, yeah. And I think Lost is that in a way, you know? Like,
it's stuff like the computer movie with the fish.
Yeah.
That's something I always come back to as a really dating line. Because it's like, yeah.
CGI was a new
CGI
thing.
Was new. And also that you couldn't just say Finding Nemo. Because it wasn't fame, it wasn't like,
maybe it was a copyright thing, you don't know. But, like, yeah, I think Sawyer's character for sure. But also Saeed's character. I think, like, I've been watching some, like, deep dive videos on Lost recently. And, like, something that I think we forget, being younger and being modern viewers, is the kind of context in which it was all set,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
around Saeed's character. I don't know, we talked a lot about how we weren't big fans of Saeed and Shannon's relationship. And there was a video that I was watching brought that up and kind of said, like, he's a guy who watched it at the start, I believe, like, as it was coming out, and then has continued to watch it now, and is like, I think the fandom reacted more against Saeed and Shannon's relationship now than they did at the time. People seem to kind of be quite on board with it at the time.
Right, interesting.
And, like, you know, Naveen Andrews has been quoted as sort of saying, like, he was the one who came up with the idea for them to be together, and sort of said something like, seeing, like, an Iraqi soldier with Miss America.
Yeah, she's like she's like a Barbie doll almost. She's like the perfect American girl.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it is interesting when you look at it from that angle.
And it's not like I'm completely blind to that, right? But I just kind of went, oh, like I almost didn't really realise until they said it.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, maybe now, and I'm generalising, of course, but like for us, for example, like when I look at their relationship, I'm more like, it feels like they don't love each other, it feels like they've been forced together, you know, those kind of things. Like, they don't seem like a good match as people, rather than thinking about, like, the
what they kind of represent.
What they represent and the context of that. And it kind of made me go, like, I now understand why you did it as Lost writers. And in a way, you made a very good point.
Kind of symbolically, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, let's talk about this episode.
Anyway, yeah, sorry, I went on a massive
Saeed
tangent
is kind
there.
of irrelevant to this episode. But yeah, I think this episode, yeah, it says some interesting stuff about Sawyer, circling back to that. And, like, I don't know, I was thinking about, like, in reference to his sort of stash and his stuff, like, Sawyer's kind of relationship with material things, and, like, the idea of, like, obviously he doesn't really have a sense of home.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because of his history.
Yeah.
And, like, it's never really explored explicitly, but you could assume that, like, after his parents died, he was in, like, foster care, that kind of thing.
Or maybe just even, like, on the streets, do you know what I mean? In
Yeah.
gangs and stuff. Like,
I mean, we don't know. Clearly, he doesn't really have a sense of, like, that kind of security, and he doesn't, like, live in one place for long, and it's kind of similar to Kate in that, like, moving from place to place.
Definitely.
Except Sawyer kind of does. It seems to do it a bit more voluntarily. But, like, I think that's really interesting when it comes to, like, Sawyer really hoarding stuff on the island and being like, this is, like, my tent, it's my stash. Because it's, like, how much does he have, you know? Material things. Like, if he doesn't have, like, a home, then does he really own anything in his normal life, you know?
This episode kind of perpetuates a narrative of, like, he's incapable of forming that connection with other people. Because, like, well, do you think he was actually in love with Cassidy?
I don't know.
It's hard to tell, isn't it? Because
It's very
like,
hard to tell.
He just lies to her over and over and over again, basically.
I think he did feel something for her, I think. Like,
he obviously feels bad. Like,
he obviously feels guilty. And I think he wouldn't have, like... He could have, you know, made her... He could have, like, turned her in. He could have made them both go out and give the money to the guy and, like, all of that. You know, he did still give her an out in a way.
Yeah, well, he probably ensured that she didn't die. Unless...
Which is something.
Gordy goes after her
to
try and get his money back.
We don't know.
In a way, he's put her in a more dangerous situation because he's like, I'm taking the money for myself. So Gordy's going to be furious. And he said, if I don't get my money, I'm going to kill you both.
No, he gives it back to
No,
Gordy.
he doesn't. No, he does not.
Does he not?
He says, Gordy's in that car out there. I'm going to take the money. He goes into the car. There's no one there.
Oh.
He's scamming her again. Did you not pick up on that?
No, I forgot about that.
Oh, okay. No, because it's like, you think, oh, Sawyer's got like a shred of decency in him, and then it's like, no, he's just doing this all for the money.
But is he doing that to disconnect himself from her because he can't stand being attached to someone else?
Possibly. Or he's just like, fuck you all.
And in a sense, like, if Gordy has said, like, oh, I can't believe you've gotten attached to her, like, if they'd run away together, it's putting her in danger of Gordy's wrath. I don't know.
Yeah, but don't you think like, if I was Gordy, I'm like, where's my money? I can't find Sawyer anywhere, but I found her because she's left a paper trail, let's say. I'm going to go in and I'm going to take her hostage and say, Sawyer, if you don't come here right now, I'm going to kill her.
Yeah, no,
that's a possibility.
That is a possibility, but I think there's also a very high possibility that if Sawyer can paint it as, like, I didn't care about her.
Yeah.
I'm stealing the money for myself, it in a way puts her in a safer position.
That's true, and he does do all those things, like go to this motel, do that. Like, he has taught her how to con, as we know. Teach me how to con. So she hopefully will be able to kind of survive.
Yeah.
And not get caught. But he has taken all of her money.
He has taken her $600,000, which is a whole lot of money.
Yeah. I really liked the bit where they were like, with that kind of money, let's go to an island and sit on the beach and drink mojitos.
I know.
I do love it when they have a little cheeky reference to, like, how people idolize the desert island idea in the normal world. And then they get stuck there. Like when Hurley says rich guys spend loads of money to come to islands and play golf.
Yeah. No, that was fun. I think it's very complicated. And I think very tactically we don't know a lot about Sawyer. Not Sawyer. We know a lot about Sawyer. We don't know a lot about, like, his motivations. Because everything he does on island and in the flashbacks is often, like, kind of shrouded by, like, a con or a lie or, like, something.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's hard to kind of really dig down into, like, what he really wants
and
what he's really trying to do versus, like, what he thinks what he's doing to survive, what he needs to do, or, like, what he's lying about, or, like, all of that.
Yeah. And I think, like, it's really interesting when you look at the line, a tiger don't change his stripes, because elsewhere in the show, we've had this idea of you get a fresh start on the island, you can change, and, like, someone like Kate is,
really trying to change.
Yeah, and she's very integrated into the group. She's one of the leaders, do you know what I mean? She's one of the central characters, and she's forming these great connections with people when she's had very little to connect with in her life as well, and had to betray people and kill people along the way. And someone like Saeed is like, look, I did all these horrible things in my past. And then he kind of, like, tries to help the group, and then he relapses into the torturing thing and then goes, I can't do this, I have to leave, kind of stuff like that, Whereas Sawyer, it seems like he really doesn't want to, or he resents or he resists that.
He resists the change.
There have been moments where he's shown vulnerability and he's shown that he cares about other people, like when Claire was giving birth, for example, like, he really wanted to help. And, like, yeah, he went on the raft and he tried to save Walt and, like, but now it's kind of almost like he's gone, wait. Everyone's too nice to me right now.
Yeah, that seems like what's happened is he's got, like, it's, like, stressing him out because he's like, I don't know how to react to people being nice to me.
Which is kind of sad in a way.
It's really sad, and I think...
But he does piss me off.
He does. I think the thing that I think the show has kind of presented with the characters and the idea of the blank slate is that that's not a given. Like, you have to work for that new you, so to speak.
Interesting.
So, like, Kate, she says to her and Jack right at the beginning, they say, this is a new version, I don't need to know what you did, whatever. But it's like that, it's all for show.
That's a very good point.
He still wants to know what she did.
And she still falls into those bad habits when you look at the case of guns, right?
Absolutely. She still, like, runs away and steals and, like, is very emotionally avoidant. And, like, also, people do find out that she's a fugitive eventually, and it does have an impact on the, you know, the island and stuff. But it's like she has to work hard at addressing those issues. And that's kind of something with, like, what Kate did is sort of presented in a way. The episode, not the crime.
Oh, you did actually mean to reference the episode then. I thought you were just saying that offhandedly, and I was like, oh, Lost? Oh my god, real quick tangent. We opened the DVD case today, and we found this, talking of relics of the early 2000s, oh my god, a perfectly
flyer.
Preserved piece of history that should belong in a museum. It's a little flyer, and it says on it, Lost, ? In like the Lost font. And then it says like, make sure you stay on track with the whatever it was. What was it?
Tom GPS.
Tom GPS. So it's an advert for like a GPS thing.
Which also, car GPSs were a new thing.
Yes, absolutely. And it uses the Lost as like a kind of cheeky way to introduce it, which I loved. And then we turned it over and it was like, you can get a free stand for your GPS because you've purchased the DVD, but the way that you claimed the free stand was to send that flyer to a PO box as a proof of purchase
before the 31st of December 2006.
We were like, oh, we just missed it.
And, you know, everyone's been saying, you know, 2026 is the new 2016. 2026 is the new 2006,
2006. Give me my stand for my TomTom GPS. And this is free advertising for TomTom. I'm sure they're still going and haven't been forced into administration
by the concept of Google Maps. Anyway, returning to my serious commentary.
Sorry, I just had to mention that.
No, we did have to mention that. So yeah, like I think with what Kate did, that's kind of an indication of that, in that she like freaks out and falls back into that pattern of behaviour, but by the horse kind of reappearing, it's like she can never escape her past. She has to find peace with it. And so by going over and like, you know, petting the horse or whatever, it's like finding a bit more closure. And like with Saeed, like he has quite easily really found a bit of a blank slate. Like I think the thing about Saeed is he's just very good at sort of managing things. in the way of like, oh, you know, Sawyer has never had these relationships. I think Saeed he's so far past that he's like, I can just do this.
He's jaded, you know. he's
like,
just
another day. But he like, you know, like you said, like he falls back into that torturing, and then he feels so guilty about it that he has to leave, that he's like, it's that like you have to work to change that part of yourself.
I think that's a really good point, and also very definitely reflected in John. When you were saying that, I was like, John is a big one for that, because he's like, boom, fresh start, obviously, right? Because he can walk.
Yeah.
Hello?
You would be like, this is a magical fresh start.
Yes. But then we see him start to crumble in Deus Ex Machina, don't we? And like he then has to wrestle with like his anger from his past.
And it's like so much of what happened to him is still affecting him. Yeah. Even though he can walk now. Like, and
it's not like all solved.
Yeah. It's not all solved. Absolutely. And that is like, just because you get that fresh start, it doesn't mean everything is automatically going to be fixed. And I think Sawyer is clearly very pessimistic about the idea of that fresh start, and he's very much like, well, nothing is going to change, so what's the point? And so he's not willing to do like any of that work, and actually the change scares him. Like the idea that people are not scared of him and that people like him clearly freaks him out a lot, because he's not like, he doesn't know how to deal with it, which I think is really interesting to present in a character who like clearly wants those connections, because like he is happy with Cassidy, but in the end he can't stay with her because Tiger doesn't change his stripes, and that's clearly what he's been taught also, that's been like forced into his head, the idea that he can't change.
Do you think that Tiger don't change his stripes is like Sawyer's version of that's why the Red Sox will never win the series?
Sort of. Similarly to like a kind of like, also like John's like, don't tell me what I can't do.
Yeah, but that's a bit more like there's more force and drive behind that, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? There's a desire to
guess.
change. Whereas I think the Red Sox will never win the series was Christian's kind of excuse.
It's very much, it's what Christian says to justify not changing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I feel like that's a similar thing, although, you know, obviously the context is different because this guy's kind of saying it to try and intimidate Sawyer.
Yeah, he's trying to force Sawyer into remaining the way he is. And I think that's, as well, everyone who's surrounded Sawyer his whole life has wanted him to continue being a criminal because they want money
They're
off
also
of him,
criminals.
or they're all also criminals. Like, if he goes straight, what is he going to do? He's going to go to the police and tell them all everything that's happened to them.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like,
could he even get a job? Do you know what I mean? He's got such a huge criminal record now. Like,
you know, and obviously he would, if he went to the police, he would obviously also be arrested. And so, like, that's like, it's like, you can't change, you're going to be like this forever, brackets, please don't change. Don't.
Also,
develop.
like, in a way, you kind of can't change because you're stuck in this lifestyle now.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, it's something about one's own personality, kind of about one's own situation.
Situationally, yeah. I mean, Kate can't just
Hello?
decide to get a job, can she?
No. And that's why that plane crash is like the fresh start for people, because it's like all of society has gone away.
Yeah.
We've got our own society now. But he's the new sheriff in town, he's decided.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you're talking about like his material possessions as well, like thinking about money, how big of an influence money has been on in his life, you know. Everything's about getting more money and everything like that.
And now
money doesn't matter.
But what does matter is the guns.
Unless you're playing Lost via Domus, in which case everything has a dollar value.
Everything has a monetary value.
We all know that Homer's The Odyssey costs $40, which is, what was it, 8 bottles of water or something?
Something like
I
that.
can't remember.
But yeah, and I think that's the kind of other facet of what's happening to Sawyer in this episode is like power.
I'm just remembering how ridiculous that game was.
40 papayas.
40 papayas. Power. Go on, talk about power.
So like, by having like in like Sawyer's criminal past, he doesn't always have the power, but like having like power and control is a big thing within like a crime, obviously.
No way.
Because it's like, you know, if you're not in control, someone else is in control of you. And that's kind of this situation. Like, even when he's like sort of in domesticity with Cassidy, he still has this power over her because he knows that she has the money and he knows that he's going to get it and he knows that he's doing this long con, so he has that kind of control. And on the island, no one has any control. Not even, like, Jack doesn't. He has, you know, Jack and John, they have, like, power, but they don't have control over the situation, really.
It's a good point, because kind of what we see in this episode is how fragile all of that power is.
Yeah, 100%, and how they're all at the whims of these others, you know? And it's like everything could just crumble.
And they could be really easily manipulated by someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, as we see, because they are, all of them.
Yeah.
And, like, Sawyer, I think, when he realizes that his situation has started to change and that people like him and feel sorry for him and stuff, it's like he feels like he's losing that power and that control that he has over people. And so by getting the guns and by like lording that control over everyone, yes, he's making them all hate him again, which is what he wants, well, what he thinks he wants. But also he's getting back some of that control over his situation. Because he's like, well, if I can be important, then people can't, you know, hurt me or whatever. They can't get to him. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a status thing. Like, when he does that big speech, it's very, like, showboaty, isn't it? You know, and it's like, he's just doing this to kind of, like, rub it in. Yeah, absolutely, and he's pushing people's buttons, it's like, on purpose. Yeah. You know, when he turns to Saeed and he's like, I bet you want to torture me, and Saeed's like, I'm just standing here. Yeah. It's like he's trying to provoke everyone into hating him and into being scared of him. Yeah. I think it's really interesting that you brought up power, because one thing that I really wanted to bring up, which I had only really just noticed today on our third watch
of the episode, is in that final flashback, he walks into the car and you turn and you see that there's no man there, and you start to figure out that he's, conning, or double conning whilst conning. And he counts, and he says 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and he counts to 5.
Yeah.
And suddenly I was like, oh my God, it's like the complete reversal of Jack's counting to 5 story that he says in the pilot, and how Kate uses that then, because she uses it and Jack uses it whenever they're scared and just terrified and panicking, and it's a way to kind of calm themselves down and then move on. But what Sawyer's doing here is like, he's not scared at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's so in control and he has all of the power in that moment, and it's like, yeah, it really struck me as like the total reversal of that.
But is he not scared?
I don't think he's scared in that moment. We might not know what his plan is, but I think he has a plan at this point.
But
and the way that he just like really arrogantly strolls back into the house, her house, and
then he picks up the picture frame.
Oh, the picture frame. Chekhov's picture frame.
He's not like, I don't think he's afraid, but I think he's definitely experiencing something very complicated. I appreciated also in the scene in the diner with Gordy, where he said, well, similarly to what you were saying about like he's kind of trapped by the situation, I wrote down, he said it's not what you do, it's what you are, with like, you're a con man. And I'm like, that's, integrating his kind of identity into like the criminal.
Yeah, very interesting when you think about what we've just been chatting about in terms of like, is it situation and circumstance, or is it personality?
Is it, and that's something
that coincidence?
Like,
or is it fate?
Not quite the
Doesn't
same
really
debate.
apply in this situation. I noticed that in that first scene with Cassidy, when he's getting dressed and pulling the briefcase off the thingy, he put a pink shirt on. And I was like,
I never wore pink!
And he goes, the 80s. So I was like, oh, is this meant to signify that this is happening in the 80s?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because I think he's too old, right?
Way too old. This is 2004.
So
how old is Sawyer?
He's like in his 30s.
And so in the 80s, he'd be like 15.
Yeah. So it's not. But for a second, I was like, oh, I've connected the dots here,
There was some gay shit going on between Anna Lucia and Kate this episode. Can I say that? Is this a safe space?
Absolutely.
They need to stop fighting over this boring white man and kiss each other.
Literally.
Because, oh my God, that one scene where they're like, it's like Jack and Anna Lucia are like standing over Sun, and then Kate is like looking at Anna Lucia, and it's like fucking wind in her face, and it's like a slow shot with like some music underneath, and then it's like Anna Lucia like turning to look at her, and there's wind on her face, and I was like, what? Why is it a rom-com now? I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a yearning look.
Yearning, for sure.
That's not a suspicious look.
Yeah. They truly are the perfect love square in that, how love triangles are never love triangles because it's
They're
actually just a corner. Yes. They are the square because any one of them could date any one of them at any given time. There was homoeroticism between Sawyer and Jack, I think, in this episode.
Oh, for sure.
Are you threatening me?
For sure. The bit where Sawyer is like on the computer.
Oh, I love that.
And he's
scene.
like, hold on. And Jack's standing there and he's like looking at Jack and like grinning at him. And Jack's like, I was like, oh, yeah.
I have to say,
this is some gay teasing.
As often, I do find Sawyer, I don't like Sawyer as a character, as you all know. And I don't often find him funny. I did find him very funny in that scene. Being like, hold on, I've almost got the high score on Donkey Kong. And then like really slowly typing it in just to annoy him.
And the fact that like they can't stop him because they know that it has to be done.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there like, please.
Just
please,
being a dickhead,
please.
But in a funny way. Whereas he's a dickhead in a non-funny way in the rest of the episode. But that's the scene also where he said, where's John? Or he said something about going out to get a packet of smokes. That made me laugh. That did make me laugh. That made me laugh. Okay, I can admit that. Sawyer did make me laugh at that one.
In that moment. Yeah. No, there's some real gay shit going on in this episode.
Yeah.
Because also it's like, so much of it just feels like a big sort of like stay away from my man thing, but like for all of them.
Man in the gender neutral sense.
Man in a gender neutral way. It's like, is this guy bothering you? Except none of them.
Oh my god, I literally cannot watch a scene of Sun in her garden without thinking about this one Tumblr post, which said like, it's like a piece of text on a picture of Sun in her garden where it says like, I see my wife working in the garden, I say like, is this guy bothering you? And then I start punching the soil. Yeah. And I'm like, that is just their relationship. That so is Jin. Is this guy bothering you? And that's what I think about every single time I see Sun in her garden.
That's funny.
Let's talk about that kind of subplot of the episode.
Yeah, so interesting things. Ooh. Just smacked my mic. Interesting things happening with this subplot. So, first of all, Vincent speaks Korean. Better than he does English, by the sounds of things. Mm-hmm.
He's added another language into his repertoire.
He's been listening.
3 now.
It's really nice because Vincent isn't really consistently present. Yeah. So it's easy to forget that he's there on the island. Yeah. And then he'll suddenly run into a scene and you're like, oh yeah, there's a dog.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, who's looking after Vincent now? Because Michael's gone and Shannon's dead.
I guess just the island.
Just everyone.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
this puppy is all of ours.
He's raised by the village.
Yeah, completely.
Aaron's taking care of him. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, it's one of those things of, like, once Walt leaves Vincent with Shannon, but I think he kind of gets taken care of by other people. But yeah, I mean, it's never really followed through on. Unanswered question. Is that on the Lostpedia page for unanswered questions?
We need to know.
Oh my god, as well, sorry to bring up Sherlock again, but I've realised...
There we go.
I've been really lured in by the Lostpedia. Because the Lostpedia is so detailed, right? Yeah. We've talked about it. There's literally a page for Shu.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, if anybody who contributes to that website is listening... just want to say thank you so much.
I love you.
You are literally doing God's work. It is so honestly valuable and incredible as a resource. Like, I'll shit on it every now and then, be like, where the hell have they got that from? But you've probably got it from a tiny detail that I've missed a million times.
Like, it's so detailed. There's such extensive pages for everything. There's literally, like, there's a page for every one of the numbers that has every single time it appears. Even in, like, you know, extra materials. Like, there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
You would think that a show like Sherlock, right, which has a huge fandom and a very obsessive fandom, and which is literally about, like, murder mysteries, would have a really detailed, incredibly intense Wikipedia page. It's terrible. When I tell you, it's only got the first 2 seasons.
Oh, really? Wow.
There's 4 seasons of Sherlock. It says on the website, it's got the episodes of season 1 and 2. The first episode is quite a detailed page. The rest of them are really quite limited, like plot summaries and stuff. And then in season 3, it says TBA. So no one's updated the Wikipedia page since season 3 got announced.
Wow, in like 2014.
But the episodes didn't come out in like, I think it was 2014 or 2015.
Wow.
How insane is that?
That is kind of insane because Sherlock fans are
crazy and they go in for like tiny details. And I found like a long Tumblr post once that was like the timeline of like Moriarty's everything, like all of his schemes. It was like the combined timeline of everything that had been posted like it was dated like 2014 or something, and it was so detailed. And I was like, where is this enthusiasm for the Wikipedia page?
Yeah.
I know nobody likes Series 3, but like, come on, guys.
Interesting. Maybe there's a generational gap there. Do you know what I mean? Maybe there are people out there doing those kind of deep dives. They're just not putting it on
Wikipedia.
A Wikipedia page.
So I got to get on that.
Mm.
Okay, here's a crazy thing that's completely unrelated to anything we've talked about.
Great.
Diane's in the diner. Diane Austen is here.
Yes, Kate's mother.
Kate's mum. And I love this as well, because when the scene started, I went, oh, this Kate's mum's in this, right? As I remembered, and it was like the fact that her face isn't in shot for ages.
Yeah.
And then you finally see her face, and it's the one shot, and you can see her name tag says Diane, and I was like, oh my god, Kate's mum.
Yeah.
So that means this takes place in... where is it she's from? We did find out in the episode about Tom. Oh my god, speaking of the detail of this, the Lostpedia, on Kate's page, it starts with childhood, and it says, Kate was born sometime between May 21st and June 21st, making her a Gemini. Iowa. There we go. Found it.
Iowa. Yes. Okay. So yes, this is all happening in Iowa.
Which is interesting. For no reason, but it is interesting.
Yeah.
It's nice because, like, to me, America is just one big blob. So, like, when the characters cross over, I'm like, yeah, because they're in America. But, like, obviously that's not the case.
Yeah.
So it is interesting to try and kind of pin stuff down.
Oh, I love when I wrote down Cassidy got his ass. I love it when she's like, are you being serious?
Funny.
Are you actually being serious right now?
She's like, and then I say, I have money. And I was like, oh, you got him.
Which is so funny because it's like, we've seen it work earlier on in series 1.
And like, it's like, we know what's going to happen because we've seen him do it before.
And then for her to just be like, are you actually being serious?
Yeah, I wrote down Cassidy legend.
Conveniently throw all this money over the thing. And then she's like, it's not even real, it's newspaper. Truly iconic.
She seems like she's a bit of a match for Sawyer, which I like. In a way, she's kind of paralleled with Kate. Like,
yeah, for sure.
In that they're kind of like adversaries and they match each other. He calls her Dimples.
I noticed that too.
Which is obviously very similar to Freckles.
Yeah. And with the amount of scenes that Sawyer and Kate have together on Island this episode as well, I definitely think we're supposed to think about them.
Like, put them next to each other. Wouldn't it be crazy if Kate and Cassidy were like childhood friends or something? I think actually Sawyer like planting doubt about his own plan is very clever. With like son getting kidnapped.
When you know what he's doing, so like second time watching it or third time watching it as we are, it's really like obvious the way that he pushes this narrative.
Yeah.
Like, because Kate seems to be like, it's the others, it's gotta be the others. But he's the one really like hammering home the details are wrong.
Like how would son fight them off? This hood is different. They wouldn't leave a trail. They didn't leave a trail before. And I think also it's really interesting in that idea of like Sawyer and his identity is like, and them liking him is that it seems like he's trying to help and it seems like he's genuinely concerned because that's the kind of the new picture of Sawyer, you know? And so he can kind of rely on that a little bit of like that they trust him now to then lie.
Yeah, that's a good point. Has this all been a long con from the very beginning?
I don't think so,
no.
But that would be crazy.
I don't think nearly dying from sepsis was part of the plan.
Oh, part of my plan. He had stitches in this episode.
I noticed that too.
That was really fun at the beginning when he's got no shirt on. He's got like little stitches in his shoulder. I was like, oh, that's a cute detail. But yeah, Gene, I know he's going through it, but he really made me laugh this episode. His like, his involvement is always so funny when he's just like running around yelling at people in Korean and everyone's like, Jin, let's take a deep breath. Gun. And I was just like, do you think that's gonna work? Genuinely. Jack's like, yeah, do you know what? You seem stable right now. Here's a weapon. You seem in your right mind. Like, because obviously, like, he's mad, but, like, I was just kind of like, initially, I was like, it seems like he's probably just asking the same questions that Jack is asking, you know, who did it to you, did you see them, or whatever, but, yeah, he's like, no, I'm gonna run off after them. In another life, in a world where this was done by the others, we get the, return of power couple, Jin and Michael, going off into the woods to just like ransack the others. Yeah. And get revenge for their loved ones.
True. I do have to say I quite enjoyed the Jack and Jin teaming up.
Yeah, it was quite fun.
Because they don't really have very many scenes together as far as I'm aware.
No, not really.
Like,
because Sun has a lot of scenes with Jack because they like team up medically.
yes. Which I love that too in like series 1, and then that kind of doesn't
really
come
carry
back
on
massively. It does a bit, but like, yeah, I think one of the things about having such a big cast is that they like go, hey, have we put these two in a scene together yet? I don't know. Let's give it a go and see how it works.
Yeah.
And these two, they didn't really get much screen time together this episode, but I quite liked the scene that they had, like when Jack was gonna go attack Sawyer and Jin's like, no.
No, that is good. The one thing I do have to say about this plotline, though, it's not the one thing. We'll talk about this in a bit more detail, I'm sure. But Sawyer has this whole thing where he says, like, oh, Kate, you couldn't fight off the others when they got you. And he's like, if you pit you against Sun, I know who I'm betting on, whatever. Sun's not very strong. Sun versus Charlie? I'm betting on Sun.
It's a good point.
Like,
I think Charlie weighs 100 pounds soaking wet.
yeah, she's taller than Charlie.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Yeah.
I know she was kneeling down.
The thing is, so we watched Fire Plus Water last week, although as we've established it was actually a while ago. Sorry to break the illusion once again. But like, when I watched Fire Plus Water this time around, I was like feeling a lot different about it because I'd had this idea of like Charlie just behaves really out of character and really violently and it's awful and he's just like suddenly become this like villain. And I hate it. And then when we watched it, I was kind of like, actually, I'm seeing the nuance here.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing, like, more of what is motivating him, I guess, or more of his kind of spiral. I think that's key as well. Like,
you see the decline a bit better.
He's having these dreams, he doesn't know what they mean, and he's just freaking out, basically. But then in this episode, they kind of go back on that, and they're like, no, actually, Charlie is a villain, and he's just decided to be evil all of a sudden, and he's really calculated, and he's gonna attack Sun. He's going to attack Sun, give her a big gash on her forehead, knock her out, put a bag over her head, drag her through the jungle. Also, he could humiliate John.
Yeah, it's like, I think our perception of Charlie as like going off the rails unprompted has more so been enforced by this episode than by Fire Plus Water itself.
That's so true, actually, because I didn't remember. He's in this episode so little as well. He's basically in one scene and he's just behaving not like the Charlie we know at all.
No, I do think in a way he is being like manipulated by Sawyer.
Everyone's being manipulated by Sawyer in this episode.
Because I think Sawyer has this plan. Well, now here's an interesting proposal. At what point does Sawyer plan this whole con? Because when he gets out of the ocean and he goes and like mocks Charlie and is like, everybody hates you now, he then sees Jack stealing his pills.
Yeah.
But if he was planning on manipulating Charlie, he's kind of negging Charlie, isn't he?
Don't say negging.
He's like knocking Charlie down and being like, everybody hates you, more than they hate me.
I think he's just taking a jab at him. I don't think he's got another purpose there in that scene.
I don't think so, but I think it could have been,
Yeah. No, I think, like, even though he is calculated and stuff, he's an opportunist. And he sees the opportunity. I guess, the question is, how do they find out about the whole gun conversation that Jack and John have? Do you know what I mean? Is that common knowledge amongst the camp?
I don't know, I guess.
Maybe Sawyer's just noticed that Jack's not wearing the key necklace anymore.
I did write down, no, don't take off the key necklace.
I know!
Your swag! Your white boy swag!
Jack, your white boy swag!
No! It's very sad. It's an angel's lost its wings today.
Real.
The key necklace, gone but not forgotten.
Never forgotten to us.
In my head, he's just always wearing it. It makes me really sad that he doesn't wear it.
Well, the handcuff's also gone too.
I know.
So all the cool accessories.
Everyone's swag is gone.
Swag.
But the weird thing about the dynamic between Sawyer and Charlie in this episode is that Sawyer seems to also perceive John as some kind of cock.
Oh, that really disgusting line that I'd completely forgotten about. Sorry if that was
Really
horrible to listen
weird.
to. But do you know what was horrible to listen to? Now there's a sensitive man.
Because at first it's kind of funny, right? Like, that scene initially is quite funny.
Let's read like a girly magazine
Read it to me, I
together.
lost my glasses,
Ha, ha, ha.
10 ways to know it. Like, it's kind of cute at first. And then, like, now there's a sensitive man. At first I was like, oh, is he just kind of messing around? But then it's like, no, he seems to also think that John's trying to get off with Claire. Which is like, I was under the impression that we were all like, no, Charlie, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, apparently not.
So weird. And so, like,
Horrific.
is Sawyer on Charlie's side? Like, I don't...
Hey, maybe.
What?
No, you're completely justified.
No, you're so right.
Oh
No, he is
my
cocking you.
God.
No, he is. It feels like, you know, that comic that's like, someone who's not online might think
Oh,
they
yeah,
might
yeah,
just
yeah,
they might
yeah.
just know common things, like John is trying to sleep with Claire. Of course.
Of course. It's John and Claire on the front of this DVD as well. We got a new DVD today.
Yeah.
They're on the front of the case, and then on the actual disc is a picture of the heroine Mary.
Yeah. And now, yeah, so that's very interesting. I don't really understand Charlie's motivations in this episode. I think largely it seems to come from a just like... He's mad at John, he's embarrassed, you know. He wants John to...
The way that this is set up is that Charlie's going to become like a kind of Sawyer protege.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been rejected.
He's the new Cassidy.
Yeah, he's been rejected by the group because everyone saw him, quote unquote, try to drown the baby and saw John punching him and stuff. So it's like, no one likes him anymore. He's on the outskirts. And that's what Sawyer is, right? That's like his archetype. And he's reestablished himself in that role by the end of this episode. And so it kind of is not necessarily giving Sawyer and Cassidy to me, but it's giving kind of like John and Boone to me.
Yeah.
But maybe like Charlie's gonna now follow Sawyer around and be his like little lackey, which dislike.
And also doesn't happen.
Hard disagree to that. Well, spoilers, but no, it doesn't really go. This episode's kind of the end of that, so it's like, well,
why did we do all that?
what was the point of all that then? Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't really understand what like, usually I have some kind of explanation, but I really kind of don't understand what Charlie's thinking in this episode. I think it's just like, he doesn't like John, and so Sawyer frames it as like, this will upset John. But Sawyer's not doing it to upset John. Sawyer's doing it to get his own power back. And to get at Jack, I guess. And also just for all of his other...
Just because he's a bad person and he's like, this is what I'm like.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
But yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. And it's kind of never... This is the thing with a lot of Charlie's issues, is that they're just kind of never circled back to. I'm always like, oh, we'll come back to that. And then we don't.
He's got a lot of pins in him. We'll put a pin in that one.
Put a pin in that for later.
We've put too many pins in. He's more pin than man at this point.
So yeah, it's an interesting...
I mean, what I will say about that scene is I remember seeing a behind the scenes of how they filmed the pilot and a conversation between him and J.J. Abrams, I believe, because he directed the pilot, didn't he? So someone at least, talking about how, you know, when Charlie is finding his heroine in the toilet in the cockpit, and he bursts out the door, and Kate's going like, Charlie, where are you? And he bursts out the door. they were having a conversation saying, oh, what do you think about Charlie having his hood up when he does that to make him seem a bit more threatening and menacing and scary and creepy and all of these things? And Dom was like, you know, putting it up, putting it down, like, yeah, that's good. He does that again in this scene.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's a very clear indicator, I'm evil now. He's on the traitors. He puts the cloak on. He's evil now. Time to murder.
I think what's interesting about, potentially interesting about Charlie.
Potentially
episode. Potentially interesting.
Good way to describe Charlie, I think. Potentially interesting.
Because like maybe we'll have something to say about it. Let's discuss.
Okay.
Is at the beginning in the scene with John and Jack where they're in the, what is it, like a vault? Armory, that's the word. They have the Mary dolls and John says I had to take it away from him, his heroin stash.
Which pissed me off, because I was like, just blabbing about the heroin addiction. I know Jack knows, but does John know that Jack knows?
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, his heroin addiction, he couldn't be trusted. No.
And also, once again, completely going back on the narrative that he pushed at the beginning of series 1.
Yes!
Where John was like, you have to have the choice.
It's like John completely forgot that the moth even happened. / the writers forgot.
Jack didn't forget, though, because he knew about the heroin addiction from the moth. But anyway, like... And that, like, I thought that was quite funny when he says, like, you left it in the statues, and he's like, you want to break 7 Virgin Marys? I'm superstitious. And I was like, superstitious is an understatement.
Superstitious is very interesting, yeah.
But,
superstitious
like...
is the word.
Very much. But I thought that, like, then him saying, like, it might have medicinal value, so we've kept it, which it is, like, I mean, that's where it came from, right? Originally, it was, like, a... medicinal thing, and then it started being used recreationally. I think so. It's like a painkiller, but really extreme. But could it be that like it's like, oh, they're gonna take all the guns out of the armory and the heroin and Charlie wants it back?
Well, no, because Sawyer said that. He assumes that Charlie's working with him so that he can get the heroin back. And then he's like, no, I don't want it. If I wanted it, I would have taken it before I showed you where it was. Which seems like a good answer to me. Like, I believe him when he says that.
I do believe him, and I think it shows us that Charlie has grown.
Yes.
He's no longer addicted to heroin.
Yes.
Is what it shows us.
Yes.
And that, like, when he said he wanted to keep it there, just, like... to give himself that, like, I can't remember what it is he says in Fire Plus Water, but it's like he needed to know that he was choosing not to take it.
Yeah.
Not that he just didn't have the option. This seems like a kind of end to that, you know? Like,
that's true.
He's finished with having the heroin in his life and he knows that he's done with it.
Yes. It's just interesting the direction he's taking with this new life.
Yeah. And also the heroin...
I'm evil now.
The heroin is just in the woods. Sawyer's just going to start doing heroin.
It's just where he's keeping the guns, right? Because we don't know where he's decided he's going to keep the guns.
Imagine if he put them back in.
Just to fuck with them.
Back in the armory, but he's just changed the combination.
Yeah. I did like that bit at the beginning, the whole, like, interplay around the combination and, like, Michael Giacchino once again coming in with the, like, good musical score, like when Jack goes... so what's the combination? And John's kind of like, it's very tense, you know?
Yeah, I think that's really interesting because also it is like, John is the one assuming there's bad faith involved in that. Like, I'm like, yeah, you don't want one person to just know the combination because that's dangerous. Because also, what if John just starts blasting, you know?
So anyway, I started blasting.
Like, what if John... And, like, I think... It's very interesting from John's perspective as well, what he says about, like, he made a mistake in teaching Michael to shoot. Because this is, like...
I really liked that, too.
John had this, like, communist perspective early on, didn't he? He was, like... He was telling everyone about the hatch just because they asked him. And he was, like, anyone can come down here. You know, he brought Hurley down just because he wanted to. He was, like, anyone can have access to anything. They gave out all the food and that. And now he's sort of seeing... like, the side of, like, why Jack makes the decisions he does, I think, a bit more.
But yeah, I thought Locke had some really good moments in this episode, actually.
It, like, hinted towards an interesting development in John.
Yeah, and, like, you got, like, the Jack and John kind of adversary kind of thing is really interesting. Like, I liked it when he said, "There's a lot of cliffs on this island, John." It really reminded me of how Jack almost died falling off a cliff and John was the one who saved him.
And also how John lied and said Boone fell off a cliff.
Yes!
I very much took that as Jack being like, and I really want to push you off one of them.
It could have also been that. It was also giving very, I'm gonna kill him. That wouldn't solve anything. No, but it would feel good.
And I liked also with the combination when Anna Lucia goes, "So Jack, what's the combination?" And then he looks at her and then she goes, "I'm just kidding." And I'm like, I don't think she was.
Well,
I think she was like, if you don't tell me, I'm joking. But if you do tell me, good for me.
Yeah. Their dynamic's really interesting and weird and hard to pin down.
Very hard to pin down. It almost feels like Anna Lucia is kind of manipulating Jack also.
I know obviously they have a bit of history, but like Anna Lucia's only just been introduced to the show. So for this like new character to come in and then for their like thing that's anchoring them together is this idea of the army that hasn't really gone anywhere.
Yeah.
It makes their scenes a bit stilted in a way because it's like, I don't know, what are we working with here? Do you know what I mean? What's the direction this is going in?
Yeah, it's weird. And it's like, I think they don't seem to really have like a plan.
That we can see, no.
Yeah, and when Anna Lucia says like, you people aren't scared enough, and he's like, we're plenty scared, you know.
I did like that I really liked the way that she phrased it in, "That's the nice thing about you people. You're not scared enough." Kind of made me be like, oh, yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's really interesting. There's lots of layers to that.
Very interesting. I think Anna Lucia's perspective on them as a group is really interesting. And obviously also with Anna, it's like the rest of them still, you know, really hate her. I think that's something that's easy to forget, is that like,
there were lots of side eyes, weren't there?
Yeah.
Like camera side eyes, like glances, cutaways to Anna Lucia whenever John would be like, well, if we give everyone guns, it could be an accident. We're just as likely to shoot each other.
Yeah.
Cut to Anna Lucia.
Definitely felt like a pointed dig. We're just as likely to shoot each other as we are the enemy. Look to Anna Lucia. And I'm like, okay.
Literally.
She didn't mean to.
Yeah.
And like, so I think she's also sticking very close to Jack because Jack trusts her because they knew each other before.
That's a really good point. I think everything that Anna Lucia does is like a survival thing.
For sure. All of her decisions are motivated by what's the next move.
Yeah.
And that's very much a product of their surroundings, like the tail sections experience.
But also I think her life in general as
well, you know?
I
mean, her life obviously as a police officer has been very filled with threat. And like, if like her mum is also a police officer, she's obviously been raised in that mindset, you know, she's probably been very aware of danger from like a young age, and that like her mum is inconsistently in like dangerous situations. Speaking of the tail section, Bernard is a dentist.
He's a dentist.
Now let's review.
Oh my god, yes, we can talk about this now, can't
Let's review. So, this pisses me off, right?
It pisses both off that he is a dentist.
This is one of my genuinely this is one of the plot holes that enrages me the most about the show. And it becomes a bit more apparent why later on. But like, Bernard is a dentist.
Yeah.
We find out in this episode. And I didn't know we found out in this episode. I thought we didn't find out until the end of like fucking series 3 or something.
Yeah, but it's mentioned so offhandedly.
And he really says, like, oh, he's been holding out on us, and also here's a radio. If Bernard is a dentist, that means he has a medical degree.
Yeah.
That means he's a doctor. Like, he's got, like, a PhD, but also he's a doctor. Why
the fuck?
Why was Libby treating the man with the broken leg?
A year of med school before I dropped out. He completed med school. He's been a practicing dentist for however many fucking years.
He's old also, so he's a long time. Dentists get trained because because every doctor has to do like a certain amount of medical degree before they can specialise. So Bernard has been given full body doctor training.
Yeah. Full body. full body people, full body doctor training, and still Libby.
And Libby was the one treating the guy because Bernard was what? Oh, I miss my wife.
And Libby's just like telling some story about a fucking ski trip where she broke a leg. No, this man has been in medical school.
It makes me
He's been inside people's mouths for 20 years.
It makes me so angry because the thing is, like, this isn't really a spoiler, but it's kind of a spoiler. It's never relevant that Bernard's a doctor. It's never important.
No.
It's never important to his backstory. He never does any dental
There's never
work.
anyone like, oh God, my tooth is killing me. And then he rips someone's tooth out and it's got the Dharma Initiative logo in it. It's got the numbers carved into the tooth. That never happens.
He never does anything dental related.
He literally could have been anything.
He could have had any other job.
Any career, anything. He could have literally done anything. And they made him a dentist. Fuck knows why. I know it was just offhanded. I know they just went, oh, let's just make him a dentist. That's like a profession that we've not got yet.
And it's like, oh, he's like professional and I guess it means he has like money or whatever. But it's like, and I guess like, but it's like, no, it means he has practical skills that can help them survive.
And then didn't use them. Fuming.
Don't piss me off.
Raging. He should have been a firefighter. He should have been a firefighter.
He should have been some shit like librarian.
Oh, no, he should have been a librarian. I was only going to say that because we've got all the other first responders, haven't we?
That would have been cool. What we need is, like, another plane with a firefighter.
Yes.
This is something
plane.
Lost missed a trick with not having a fireman. Maybe let's create a Lost OC
who's a
fireman. Because, like, they'd make a big parallel out of Jack and Lucia.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be really interesting to see, like, I mean, well, I guess we had Boone's a lifeguard. Coast Guard is on the thing. But he's a bad lifeguard because Joanna does drown.
Yeah. He definitely gave the energy of just being like a posh boy with too much time on his hands.
He got a summer job.
Yeah.
He got a summer job.
But he's also, I think, very affected by the guilt of being rich.
Oh my god,
so
yes.
I think it's kind of like, how do I help people? Or maybe I'll just volunteer my free time to be a lifeguard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than actually being able to save anyone.
Like, save lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's affected by the guilt of being rich and also the uselessness of being rich. Because he has no skills.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, and neither does Bernard, apparently. No medical skills. Ooh, where could this glass eye have come from? Well, don't you know about prosthetics, Bernard?
Did you never think at any point it was relevant to bring up the fact that you're a dentist?
Surely there were other injuries.
What could he have been? I like librarian.
Librarian.
That feels like
he
it
feels
fits
like an
for him.
academic to me. I feel like he would be like a teacher, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I guess we had Dr. Arts. They couldn't really do that again. He was like a teacher and like an older guy. But
they have very different energy. They could contrast each other. Do you know what I mean? Arts is like the angry,
so furious,
like middle school teacher who has to deal with annoying kids all the time, and he could be like the sort of sweet professor.
Guidance counsellor.
Yeah, or I'm thinking like university level where he kind of just like gets really nerdy about pottery, ancient pottery or something, and has like a huge bookcase in his office.
History or something. He should be into. Like,
that would be really cool because like, there's so much on the island that is like history. If he was a historian, maybe he could go into the caves and like tell us how old
like
those skeletons were, or like analyze the kind of structures,
find out if there'd been any signs of other civilization on the island.
Yeah.
And that could be really interesting as well when it comes to like the others, because it's like based on the way that they survive, how long have they been there, that kind of thing. That could have been really cool.
From? Where are we geographically?
Yeah.
Maybe he could figure some of that out. Oh, that would have been so much better. And fits his vibe as well.
Makes me so angry that he's a dentist, because it's like, that's like a genuine, he's got a doctor. He's a doctor. Yeah. Like, they had a doctor.
Because also I think something as well that's really interesting is like, kind of professions that are useless in this kind of scenario.
Yeah.
But then finding a use for it. Very fun.
Very interesting and very cool. And like, I think it is very interesting. Like, the idea of having a psychologist, who's the closest thing you have to a doctor, is very interesting. And that's really quite cool. And I like that as like she's medically trained but not in the right way, and that like the kind of, you know, you're experiencing post-traumatic shock, aren't we all?
Yes.
Like, they do kind of need a psychologist.
They need a psychologist,
in a way.
absolutely they do. But also, like, it gives the tail section the energy of we're having to improvise with everything. You know?
Absolutely. And
we
with,
haven't
like,
got a doctor, we haven't got medicine, we haven't got this, we haven't got that.
And, like, the idea of, like, I know he was lying, but, like, when Goodwin says that he was in the Peace Corps, which is, like, they're not the army, but they're kind of volunteer army, so it's, like, they're kind
he's
of
like
there.
the substitute Saeed in a way.
Yeah, he's, like, he knows, like, the survival things, but he's, like he says, he's, like, glorified Boy Scouts. So, like, he's kind of not quite there, and that's a really cool, like, rough around the edges thing for the tail section to have.
Yeah.
But, like,
they had a
had a doctor the whole time, and he didn't do shit. He could have Sawyer, like, Sawyer was straight up feverish and dying, and he didn't do anything to help him. You know, Michael's the one who's like, let's build a stretcher for him. It's Michael and Echo who help him.
Bernard is worse than useless.
He's literally...
Or the leg guy is on his conscience. Donald, blood on his hands.
Actively hindering them. It's so... He could have helped...
Actively hindering. He is actively hindering them.
He could have helped Nathan with his IBS.
He could have prescribed Nathan something for the IBS.
Like, you know, when Hurley has the shits and Jack's like, you need to eat more protein. He could have been like, eat more fruit, Nathan, and then you won't have to spend 2 hours in the bathroom.
Eat less fruit, surely. Fruit's the shit that gives you diarrhea.
Well, it depends what kind of IBS he has.
Oh, does it?
Sometimes it's like takes a while to get things going.
Situation. That could be IBS, can it?
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought IBS stood for IB Shin.
IB Shin, because that's what I'd be doing. Mm-hmm. It depends. It's like, it's just having bowels that don't work properly. So it goes one or two ways, you know? It's either like very fast or very slow. Yeah. But the radio thing's really nice.
The radio thing also kind of makes me angry, I have to say.
I like it. I think it's sweet that, like, I think if you forget about, like, the significance of radio frequencies and stuff, I kind of see it as, like, Hurley trying to make Saeed feel better.
Yeah, which is lovely.
Just really sweet.
Because
like,
also a pairing that we don't often get, Saeed and Hurley.
I think it's really nice that Hurley is kind of like, you know, Saeed's clearly doing bad.
Yep.
Which, understandably so, his girlfriend got shot.
Whenever a character is frustrated and has pent-up emotions, they yank that, like, hide off a coconut.
Yeah, they just start
Every time, it's like...
Or they're, like, chopping wood.
Yeah, gotta take their frustrations out.
And I think, like, it's really nice that Hurley's obviously gone, like... How could Saeed, like, he was helping us with the technology stuff, and, like... when he leaves it there, and he's like, just in case you want to. Yeah. It's really sweet. And I think it's a really nice thing that then, like, he brings it back to Hurley. And with all that shit,
I know.
He's
I've got something to show you. Giant pole over my shoulder with a million bits of metal that I've just soldered together just on the off. Just whilst all this bullshit was happening with Sawyer and the guns.
Gotten, like, super locked in on doing this thing, and then he's like, well, let's try it. And then they, like, hear the music and it's nice.
Which is lovely. All of that's lovely. And I actually really like Hurley as kind of being, like, the most emotionally intelligent one there.
Yeah, and, like, for sure. He's the psychologist. He's helping, you know.
Which is maybe why he gets on so well with Livy.
Maybe he went to Livy and he was like, so he's experiencing grief, what do we do? And she's like, give him a radio.
Yeah. But I think Hurley has that instinctively, like when he builds the golf course. Do you know what I mean? He goes like, we need to have fun here, otherwise we're all going to lose our minds.
Yeah, and I think part of that probably comes from his spending time in the mental hospital. You know, if we just sit around feeling sorry for ourselves, we're going to all become, like, catatonic or whatever, and he has to, like, play games and have fun with each other. And so he's kind of got that, like, you have to do something, otherwise you're just going to feel useless. Like, it's like a thing of, like, he's, you know, talking about, like, you know, jobs that become useful on the island. In a way, his, like, lived experience of that, like, trauma becomes very useful on the island. Because he's then able to be like, well, what do we do to help this? Let's do something.
Yeah, absolutely, which I love.
And, like, you would, you know, in normal society, you know, person who works at a chicken shop who just got out of, like, a mental hospital is, like, in the sort of governmental perspective, like, bottom of the barrel useless, you know?
Yeah.
Like, obviously I don't think that, but you know what I mean? Like, those are people that, like, you know, are not considered, like, useful...
Valuable
to capitalism, exactly. Whereas someone like a teacher, a professor, is someone who's a bit higher up in that hierarchy, but, like, actually it turns out that his experience is really helpful in the island.
Completely. The only thing that annoys me about this scene is we get this. So they pick up Rousseau's signal. So I wrote down, Saeed describes it as a glorified walkie-talkie. He's like a shortwave. It's not really going to do anything. And then that's at the beginning. And then when it starts, we start messing around with it, get static, we get Rousseau's signal.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's like, it's got a larger bandwidth, so let's try. And then they get this super clear radio station. Now, I'd forgotten that Saeed gives us a nice out, a nice excuse, by saying radio waves bounce off the ionosphere. Now, I have no idea if that's fucking true or not.
Ionosphere.
But he's like, oh, it could be coming from anywhere or anytime, haha. But it annoys me.
They don't try and do anything with it.
This never comes back. I had this whole theory that they cannot communicate off the island. The island is its own kind of weird little bubble. They can never escape, right? We got that idea because the boat got only so far out. They find another boat. It's a boat that came from the island, and they all got dragged back to the island. And then when Boone thinks he's on the radio communicating to the outside world, he's actually talking to Bernard.
Who thinks he's communicating with the outside world.
And then if you take it all the way back to Rousseau, she never got her distress signal out. No one ever came to rescue her, right?
But people do hear the distress signal off the island.
Yes,
because Lenny heard it.
And she heard the numbers as well. Her team heard the numbers. So fair enough. But it just completely disputes that. Because it's like, no, we can communicate off the island. Or at least
we can receive
hear
things.
Something that's not on the island. And it could be close. And they just never try and look for it or listen to it or anything. Or even just find out about what's going on in the world. If anyone's looking for the plane.
No, it is weird. It is weird. I think it's like... And it's a weird one because we get to this place in the middle of this series where for a while they kind of forget about getting off the island.
Yeah.
And so it's like...
It's all about fighting the others, really.
Yeah, which, like, you know, understandably so. You know, Walt's been kidnapped.
Yeah.
Michael's gone. Like, the immediate threat is very close. But it is, no, I do agree, it is annoying, that, like, they don't even try and use it to communicate back.
Yeah, it feels like this is a filler episode, it's a very character-heavy episode, and they're like, fuck, let's just throw something in right at the end to try and tie it to the lore and the wider mystery, as, like, a bit of trying to keep people enticed, and then it just never comes back. And it feels lazy to me and annoying. Although I do like the fact that the song is called Moonlight Serenade, because it always makes me think of Resident Evil. It's actually Moonlight Sonata in Resident Evil, not Moonlight Serenade. But there's a random bit. This is a video game where you are shooting zombies in the head, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a random bit where you just play the piano. It's like...
Interesting.
And also, if you play as Jill... She knows how to play the piano. She has a secret surprise tool that can help us later. Just a surprise skill where she's just like, you find this music and then she's like, oh, I can play this. Plays it and then it unlocks a secret room, right?
Right, okay.
But if you're playing as Chris, he doesn't know how to play the pianos. He's just like, I don't know what to do with this. So you have to go and find another NPC to bring her back to come and play the piano for you.
That's so funny. Why couldn't they just both play the piano?
I know! So stupid.
I mean, Chris wouldn't know how to play the piano.
He wouldn't know how to play the piano.
So, like,
it
does make sense.
Like,
but that's like, isn't there that one, the fight where if you're playing as Chris, you can just beat the guy. But if you're playing as Rebecca, a guy from, like, comes in and saves you because you're not strong enough.
Yes! That's if you're playing as Jill.
If you're playing as... Well, he says, are you okay, Rebecca?
That's the other one. That's Resident Evil 0.
Ah. I'm getting mixed up. I don't play the games.
Yeah.
I just watch Ariel play them, so I don't really know the
Funnily enough,
lore.
Rebecca is the one that you find when you're playing as Chris, who knows how to play the piano.
So
So Rebecca,
it's all connected.
yes. So Rebecca's just this side character in Resident Evil 1. So when they decided to make the prequel, they were like, let's make
make it about Rebecca.
the main
That's
character,
interesting.
which is really cute. And she is fun, but then there's an NPC. He's voice acted insanely.
Are you okay, Rebecca?
Are you okay, Rebecca?
It's like the guy has clearly just said the words into the mic and not really thought about acting.
Oh, I used to say that around the house a lot after we played that. Are you okay, Rebecca? So funny.
It is. Yeah, but there's a fight because I remember, because Ariel, you only play as Jill,
Yeah.
but Mum plays as Chris, and you
Yeah.
were watching her play, and you were like, hold on,
Yeah.
where's the guy who
Where's
comes and
Barry?
saves you? And you
Yeah.
were like, Mum was like, no, I can just do it.
Barry doesn't jump in, yeah.
But I think-
Speaking of gun-based misogyny, one thing I did really like, now that we've got Anna Lucia, it seems like women are included in the conversation
Yeah.
about how
Because
things are
she's
run.
like just following Jack around.
Yeah,
she's
but
always
also
part of the conversation.
I think a lot of people know that she's a police officer or was, and she's like made herself, she was the leader of the tail section, everyone will know that, and she's established herself as like wanting to make this army. So I think she's established herself as like a kind of decision maker
Yeah.
and leader. So when it's like, Sun's been attacked, what do we do? The conversation is between Jack, Sawyer, John, Anna Lucia and Kate.
Yeah.
So it's like Kate gets tagged in, even though, you know, it really reminded me of Homecoming when they were all talking about how do we, you know, fight Ethan. And Kate's not included in the conversation, and neither is Claire, even though she's the one who's going to be used as bait.
Yeah.
And Kate's really pissed off about this. And it's like, now they're including her. And I'm like,
yeah.
good.
It is good. It is
But
good.
then part of me is like, the only reason they're including her is because Sawyer's trying to manipulate her. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it is like, it's a grey area, but I think it's progress.
hey.
Now that like Sawyer has the guns
Yeah.
and like Kate and Anna Lucia, they were like pitted against each other. But like, you know, is Kate's Kate's girl's girl instinct gonna kick in? Is she gonna be like, no, Anna Lucia, we're not so different, you and I?
That'd be fun.
Or is it, you know,
Or is it going to be like a women
stay
fighting
away from
women?
my man?
Yeah, yeah.
While Jack is like in the corner, sort of hands on hips, like. He made some really great faces in this episode. I can't mimic any of them, but he had some great sort of just confused expressions going on.
He did have his hands on his hips when Sawyer was giving his full speech. It felt like he was a dad.
He had his hands on his hips. He had a very wide stance also as well. His legs were like really far. And I was like, I have a feeling he was probably stood on like uneven ground or something
Yeah,
in
maybe.
the sand, but it was like he was standing like he'd shit himself. He was like...
But no, you make a really good point about the power dynamics, because it's like, it's always Jack versus John, you know?
Yeah.
And Sawyer takes advantage of that kind of explicitly, right? It's like they're so worried about each other that they don't notice me coming in with the steel chair, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like Sawyer's in charge now, basically.
Pretty
which,
much.
Fuck me, would I hate to live in that environment.
Oh, Jesus.
A society where Sawyer's in charge?
But also it's like,
Dead within the
I
minute.
think he's got this idea of like, I'm the new sheriff in town, but
Yeah.
he doesn't really want to be in charge. Like, because
He doesn't want to be in charge, he just wants to be feared, I think.
he wants people to...
And respected.
he wants to have power, he wants to be like in control, but he doesn't want to be in charge. He doesn't want to be making the decisions for everyone, you know?
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's more like Jack and John have to answer to him.
Yeah.
They'll make the decision, but then they have to go and get Sawyer's approval almost. Or
to
like,
get guns.
To get a gun.
So it's kind of that, like...
He's definitely shifted the power dynamic, but on the whole, in terms of this episode, I'm kind of just like, it's filler.
It is filler, and
that's
it's just...
okay. Like, I am a big advocate for the filler episode, you
Yeah.
know? And it hasn't, nothing has really massively developed over the course of this episode. But
Nothing's really changed.
And when you look at it in the context of series 2 and how incredible episodes that we've had so far.
Yeah, it's like, it's a bit of a dip, but
that's okay. We're in the middle of the season now.
we're in the middle of the
Do you know what I mean? We're allowed to take a little breather before
next week.
Next week.
Which is, oh boy.
Very exciting for us because it's episode 42 of the podcast.
And what an episode to be number 42. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
It's
We're excited.
One of them.
Yes.
It's called, and it's
one of them, if you know what I mean. It's one of them.
It's one of those.
It's one of them.
And it's so peak.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We look forward to sharing all our many thoughts on that episode with you guys next week.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Yeah, I don't think we've got anything else to say, do we?
No, I don't think so.
Gorgeous.
Follow us in the meantime on
yeah.
social medias and stuff. They're all in the description. Please, if you are free on the 30th of May and can be in Manchester, come along to our recording episode.
Yep. Please follow me as well at Ariel Hebditch on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. I'm posting stuff. I'm doing gigs in and around Manchester as well, stand-up gigs, so you can come and find me at one of those if you would like to do so.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that. You follow me on Instagram, follow my drag account on Instagram, Garlic Brad. I might be doing shows, I might not, I don't know.
You'll find out if you follow me.
You'll find out if you follow me. And yeah, we'll see you next
soon.
week.